This call is being recorded.
Welcome to Two Local Radio. I'm your host, Ray Ray.
And I'm Chrissy D.
And Teppo and Snow are running a bit late. But today we have a very special interview because we have none other than the world-renowned Ken Pike from
Absolon.
You know, the Goth power metal band. Hello, Ken. How's your night going?
Hi, how you doing? I'm doing really good. Thank you for that incredible intro.
You're welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Wow. And by the way, I don't have the goatee anymore.
Oh, you don't? He said you probably heard me.
I got rid of the goatee, but I'm still bald.
Hey, I thought you were cool. I liked it.
Well, I was telling her during the setup that he probably could hear us.
I wasn't sure who was who.
I got really good ears.
You got ears like him. He's like that too.
All right. Well, I'll start the interview, and I'm gonna throw probably a question you hear all the time. But how has your music evolved since leaving the band Vital Signs?
Wow, that was like, how many years ago was that? Like, I lost count. Way back since Vital Signs was more of a, kind of like a journey. It was like Journey meets, I don't know, that early 80s music. But after that, I got into my first heavy metal band called Malachia. And it was where I got my first taste of doing European-type heavy metal. So from there, went into when I moved to Florida, the last band that I was in for about 6 years was called Turnpike. And I call it affectionately chick rock. It was kind of like alternative Dave Matthews type music. It was I just totally went away from heavy metal, which is crazy when I think back now. I guess I've evolved in a whole lot of different ways. I know I think I've through the years gotten better as a songwriter and definitely as a singer. When I first started singing, I couldn't sing my way out of a paper bag. So
Kind of like me.
Oh, it was bad. But I just got stuck in every band I was ever in, all the way back to garage bands. For some reason, I got stuck being the vocalist, the lead vocalist in all these bands. I couldn't sing, so nobody else wanted to do it. But it's progressively gotten a little better. So I think I can kind of sing a little bit now.
I'd say your voice is real good. I heard some of your music. I liked it. I want to know, how did you get the name Absolon? I like that.
I can't remember the name of the book now. I was reading I believe it was a Dean Koontz book. And there was one little part, and they were talking about Bishop Absolon. And it was spelled Abaslon. And I thought, that's a cool name, Absolon. So I just changed the A to an O and became Absolon. It wasn't until later that I found out it also was a really bad sci-fi movie.
Oh, cool.
Well,
Yeah, but I was that Lambert guy that played Tarzan, and I didn't know it was this bad movie too.
so you must have got some slack account of it.
I've had a few people ask me, was your name band after that movie? But no, that movie was terrible. So Bishop Absolon, that's where it came from.
That's awesome, because you know what? I love your picture where you guys are all standing in the background and you see the black clouds and everything. I think that's awesome.
Is it the one that's on the website or on our Facebook right now?
Yeah.
It's the one that's actually on the website.
Okay, it's the one that's got the mansion-looking thing in the back?
Yeah.
Oh, those are brand new pictures that we put up. I thought I looked kind of goofy in the picture, but
You look...
we were all standing, so...
No, you look mean. You all look like you're really mean, like you're just like tough guys, like, you know. Like, we're ready to rock. Come on, let's go, you know?
That's the way of heavy metal bands. We all supposed to look mean. You know, in the 80s, it was the hair bands and all looking like girls. Now we just look mean.
Nothing.
But at least you're not screaming.
Exactly. We can understand what you're saying, you know?
No, I don't do the screaming thing. That's about here in Florida, where I'm at. Most of all the metal bands here in Florida is the screaming demon from the pit of hell voices, and not from it's not where I come from. So I'm old school heavy metal. So I sing.
Yeah, you can't even understand them. That's no disrespect to those that do that, but you just can't understand what the hell they're saying.
Exactly.
There's a big audience for, there's an audience market for that kind of music, obviously. So I don't put it down. It is what it is, just not my cup of tea. So, I'm an old Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Queen's Right throwback. So.
Yep, I saw that. That's cool.
Oh, okay. One thing that I noticed, I don't know if anybody's ever asked you during an interview, but are you a George Carlin fan? And if you are, do you share his beliefs?
Who?
George Carlin.
Oh, yeah. I used to love George Carlin. He's kind of like Jon Stewart a little bit. You know, he could take the most simplest thing to kind of the type things and put it into comedy and make you go, wow, that makes sense. So, yeah, I guess I am a little bit of George Carlin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I seen a picture up on your Facebook, with him there, and I'm like, I wonder if they share some of the same views.
Yeah, I think probably, and I share a lot of the same views he had on a lot of different topics.
Well, he was right on the money, though. If you're looking at today's, world, he's right on the money.
Sure was.
I agree with you. He was just really straightforward, and he just said it, and it made sense. He could talk to you as a real person, and I like Jon Stewart too. But I think in his comedy is also kind of the same way, where you go, "Oh yeah, that's right," But I was a bit of a throwback.
Oh, okay. I have another question for you. I'm just curious. Are you a Freemason?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
And what's that mean to you? For anyone that doesn't know what that is.
Oh my goodness. I've been a Mason since 1990. To me, being a Mason just is one of the tenets of Masonry is making a good man better, and I think it's just it's an organization that does good things for people, and it's about the spirit of kindness and helping your fellow man type of a thing. I've taken I normally through the years I very rarely have discussed my being a Mason, and it was recently, probably over the last 5-6 months, that I started posting anything on my Facebook, and I took some flack from some. I've got some very very dear good Christian friends, or good people, but I took some flack. That you're part of a satanic organization, the conspiracy to take over the world, and all this other stuff. I haven't seen that in all the years I've been a Mason, but that's not what it's about. So, yeah. You're the first person. No one's ever asked me that. Wow.
Well, I didn't mean to throw you off, but I just wanted, because I'm not I don't have a belief that there is like this evil satanic.
No, me either.
People taking over. I think it's just a bunch of YouTube people that used like a Photoshop.
Exactly, because you know what? Back in the late 80s, my friends and his father and uncle and everybody were part of the Shriners and the Masons and all that. And they went to the hospitals and raised money. They did They did all this good stuff. So people need to stop giving them such bad slack,
Well, it's just it's always
Exactly. I
Really not a secret.
exactly because you know what? I mean, the kid I dated when we were dating, I went to half the stuff the Shriners had because his mother went, I went, his aunts went, everybody went, and we just did a big thing. We all helped out with whatever organization or whatever they were doing.
Yeah, and that's what Masons do. It's just, as I say, good men are making a good man better. And it's not a religion. I've heard that from people. Well, it's religion because you have the Bible or whatever in your rituals and stuff like that. It's like, well, no, it's not just that. It's actually any of the books. Religion. There's no religion or politics discussed within Lodge, and that's the whole idea of everyone's equal. No matter, I could be sitting next to the President of the United States in Lodge, and we would be equal as Brother Masons, and that's something that's really cool about it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I just wanted to know. I was just curious. I'm like, because I hear all this bad stuff, and I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah,
this
no.
don't make no damn sense to me.
It's all bull. You know what? I salute you and all your Masons.
I'm not a Satan worshiper, just because I play heavy metal, I'm not a Satan.
No, but what I'm saying is because of all the good things you guys do, That's why I say I salute you guys for it.
All right. So would you say that Queensryche was a major influence as far as like your vocals?
Oh, yeah. My first major influence was Styx. When I got into the Styx and I wanted to sing, I liked the way Dennis DeYoung sang, the keyboard player, so I started emulating his voice. And then when I discovered Queensryche, and I got into Queensryche when they were still kind of, not an underground band. I mean, they were starting to move up the ladder, but they put out their first EP. And when I heard Jeff Tate's voice, it was like, oh, that's the direction I want to go. I like that clean, almost operatic kind of singing. And so, yeah, I would say that Jeff Tate, Queensryche, has been a major influence on both my writing and my vocals.
Okay. Now you mentioned some bands, but you didn't mention Operation Mindcrime. Is there a reason for that?
Oh, no. Actually, our debut CD, the CD that we have out right now, I kind of based it, the idea, the concept of it on Operation Mindcrime. I wanted it to be a concept CD and to have different movements throughout the CD, the intros and interludes and little speaking pieces and stuff. I think Operation Mindcrime was next to Rage for Order, which was the album before that, are the two best Queensryche albums. Operation Mindcrime to me is still incredible. So, yeah.
All right. So that's where you came up with the album. From listening to Queensryche and everything. Because I was wondering why it was story driven.
Well, the concept came from the idea of Operation Mindcrime, but it kind of just evolved naturally. I had, after Turnpike broke up, I had put away music for probably about two and a half years, and I didn't play. And one night, for some reason, I just decided I wanted to bang on my guitar, so I put on my guitar and I turned it, put on the distortion, and that night I wrote Darkness Rising off the CD. Then I wrote 3 songs after that, and I thought, well, I'll just do like a little 4-song thing, put it out there and see if anyone even cares. But I noticed that all 4 songs seemed like there was a theme going on through the 4 songs. I don't know whether that was unconsciously or what, but it was a theme. So once I decided, well, I'm just going to go for it and do a whole album, I decided to do the concept that the story's based on, the classic story of the portrait of Dorian Gray. So that's what the idea, the whole concept of the main character, Derek,
It kind of reminds me of a more, ballad type, Life of Agony. Have you ever heard of that band?
No.
Well, when Life of Agony did their first album, they did a story driven, and it ended up around the same way, but it wasn't all melodic. It was more of a screaming. So, and Life Adventures, like his girlfriend breaks up with him, he loses his job, everything just his mother's yelling at him, stuff like that. So,
Wow.
but so so what made you want to go from classical music when you were a kid to picking up metal out of all music? Because that's like so far away from each other.
Well, when I was young, when I was a kid, I started banging away on a piano when I was really little. But when I discovered that, like probably a lot of bands, when I discovered the Beatles, that's when I got into rock and roll. And I was and still am like a Beatles nut. But then from the Beatles, I started getting into, in the middle, late 70s and that, but I started, I got into Boston and Foreigner and, bands like that, Foghat, so, and then really, Ted Nugent, into that kind of rock. And then, of course, in the 80s, early 80s, is when I got into Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, and that's when I discovered that, okay, this is what I really want to do, this is what I love. A lot of heavy metal, I want to be a headbanger. But I like the old school, I like the European sounding metal. I was never into the LA metal bands, the whole, what we call hair bands. I was never into those kind of bands. It was all the European metal bands that I was into. I like that. I guess because they had the classical sound, they utilize classical stuff in their metal. And that's how I got from point A to point B to becoming a metalhead, and I'm still a metalhead.
So would you say nowadays bands have a disadvantage that you had at one point, with the Headbangers Ball, with MTV going all to reality television now?
I think actually now bands have a much better opportunity to, with the internet and the social networks and everything, to get their music out there to a lot more people. And there was a time in the 80s, we didn't, of course, have all this kind of stuff. So you had to put together, promotion, a promo package. You had to mail them, or physically take them to places, and it was a lot. And then, of course, you had to play a lot. That was the big thing, is you played all the time to build an audience. Nowadays, you got Reverb Nation and Facebook and Twitter, and all these different things that you can put your music out on, and it goes to people all over the world. Real different. So I think actually it's more an advantage today than there was then. MTV, that whole Headbangers Ball was pretty cool, but I wish they still had something like that. But it'd be kind of fun to have something on there. But I don't know, there was an advantage though back then.
So you think social media of today is more of an advantage, but isn't it a disadvantage at the same time with everything being so digital and less, albums being sold?
Well, I think what it's doing is another advantage for bands, especially independent bands like us. In a way, it kind of cuts out the middleman, where before, everything was about getting that record deal and getting signed by the major label and all that, which actually could be a curse too. Nowadays, you can do an independent band can almost do everything themselves. From putting together the CD, releasing the CD, promoting the CD, selling the CD, and in a way, they're cutting out the middleman, the record company. A lot of people, they don't understand that getting a record deal doesn't mean anything, because it's like a bank. The record company, they'll invest, never a couple of $100,000 or whatever into you, but you got to pay that back. it's not like you make any money. So you go out and tour, you do everything, sell CDs, but the company's got to get their money back. So this way, like when we sell merchandise, we sell our CDs, it's profit. That money we make, of course, it goes back into the band. But so there's even a big advantage there than there used to be. Not that I wouldn't mind being on a major label, so it'd be kind of cool, but it's not a goal or anything like that at this point.
Because it's not needed anymore.
In a lot of ways, no. I mean, gosh, you got iTunes, and Spotify, and Shazam. I mean, all these different internet outlets that you can put your music on and sell it. Or you could sell the CD, you could sell just a song. Then you got your website, you got all these other ways of selling CDs and promoting. It's a little easier now to promote your music in the band or the artist than it used to be. I remember the days when you go out and promotions was spending a few hours putting flyers on everything that didn't move. That was promotions. Now you just do electronic flyers and send it out to your 5,000 people on your Facebook friends list, And so I think there's just more advantages today than there was. You don't have to hoof it as hard, I don't think, in the sense of actually going out pieces and stuff. But I don't know, I kind of miss sometimes I miss the good old days.
So why don't you tell us about one of them, times where a road trip, like an interesting story on a road trip?
Wow, there's a whole lot of those. Being in the Malachi, the band the metal band I was in mid '80s or so. That was Los Angeles, so we played Hollywood, all the clubs in the Sunset Strip and all that all the time. It's very different there than in a lot of places in the country, like even especially here in Florida. Bands would sabotage each other. If you were playing with a band that, if they thought you were a really good band, and they were playing with you, you'd find equipment missing. There was times that we found all our stage clothes in the garbage bin out back in the alley.
Wow.
Guitar strings cut, had guitars missing. One time we had the drummer, somebody sliced all the heads on his drums. Yeah, that was the way it was in Los Angeles. We got a lot. And then just all the crazy stuff that went on behind the scenes at the clubs on Sunset Strip. There was a documentary that came out quite a few years ago, but it was all about the 80s metal scene. And whenever it's on, I watch it because that's exactly the way it was. It was crazy on the Sunset Strip down there in all the clubs. And sadly, some of the clubs aren't there anymore. The Gazaris and a number of the big clubs are gone. But I got a lot of fun memories.
So would you say it was a battle, a battle of, the strongest band at that time or the smartest band?
It was definitely, because every band wanted to get signed. And there was constantly shows, A&R people, there's different, record company people would be showing up to shows of different bands. And if you had a buzz and you had a good audience and you were a good band, you could almost be guaranteed that there was probably some scout watching you. So everybody wanted to get signed. So it was, kill or be killed. And very competitive. It's very different here in Florida. It's like here, it's all, the bands are all about supporting each other and, hey, go to each other's shows and I'm not used to that. It's really alien to me coming out of the scene I did, in LA. But I like it a lot better. At least I don't have to worry about someone cutting the strings on the guitars and, throwing my stage clothes into this trash can in the back. So
Or slicing the drummer's drums.
Yeah, that was something that night. It was. We were getting ready to put our stuff, stage on our gear on the stage, and the drummer was like, "Man, somebody." So we didn't know what to do.
that was good.
We wouldn't have been able to play. Well, that was unusual, but they go, oh man, 'cause they felt really bad for us. It wasn't right, so they let us use their kit.
So would you say this is the fans doing that, or you just think that the bands were doing that so they got the spotlight and you didn't, or how do you think that worked out in L.A. at that time?
I think it was just vindictiveness. Bands that were maybe not all that as good, or it was their way of. Honestly, I don't know. I think it was just pure meanness. It's just, I think they thought, well, if they could sabotage your set so that you couldn't play or you sounded bad, that you wouldn't get a record deal. I don't really know, but it happened all the time, But that was a long time ago. I think it's different now.
Still, it's a shame that people are so childish,
Overall, I got a lot of really good memories of that time. It was pretty exciting period of time to look back on. Good memories.
So would you say that counted you didn't have the metal look, you were in a way bullied or discriminated against when you were trying to interview for different bands?
Oh, yeah. After Vital Signs, I spent probably almost a year auditioning for bands, and there's a number of times it would come down to me and one other guy, and they would have us both back to do another audition, and I'd be in the same room together, auditioning, and it would always be, well, they like my voice and all this other good stuff, but the other guy had the long hair, I had the look, and I looked more like I was out of Loverboy or something. So I finally, I got tired of it because it was mostly because of my hair, and so I went and spent a few $100s on this wig, and it looked real. And the first time I wore it was the first time I auditioned for Malachi, and I got the gig. And they really liked my voice. They liked the way I looked. And I wore that wig for a number of rehearsals, and then I wore it for 2 shows. It was the second show that I was, banging my head, and I felt it like loosening up. So after that, I was worried it was going to fly off, and that would have been a little embarrassing thing. So it was after that, the following rehearsal, I went to rehearsal and I said, hey, guys, I got something to tell you. So they thought I was quitting, or I was going to tell them I was, into bestiality or something. I don't know. They were worried what I was going to do. They said, well, my hair, you think it's so cool? It's not real. And I remember them sitting there just like looking at me like, you're crazy. What? So I took it off, and they just sat there, open mouth, big eye, like, oh my God. And so I hope this doesn't change anything. I understand, if you guys boot me, I'll understand. And they're like, oh man, that's cool, because they all have long hair and everything. And they let me stay in the band, and we actually did really well. So, but then Jeff Tate came back. Jeff Tate had short hair. So, it wasn't. I was totally weird. So did Rob Halford, from Judas Priest. He had short hair.
Oh yeah, and then if you go, the new age metal, like bands like Pantera.
Yeah. I mean, they had shaved head.
Exactly.
So it really wasn't a big deal, but it was just the scene at the time. Again, there in LA on the metal bands there. It was all it was all about looks. I mean, a lot of the bands couldn't play their way out of a paper bag. They were really bad, but it was all about looks. So you had to have the look, and that meant leather or spandex and stuff like that, and long hair that you could put a can of hairspray in and puff up all over the place. That was the look, and I didn't have that look. I did with the wig, though. I looked pretty good with that wig.
There you go.
I mean, it looked cool. It looked real, though. Had nice long hair. But my long hair days is over.
You know what, though? I like you better with the shaved head. I think you look much better. I think you look good.
Yeah, it fits the music, and, you know, the shaved head still kind of a pain in the butt. You know, I gotta shave my head every night, but it's okay.
Yeah, but you know what? When it's hot in Florida, it's perfect.
Oh, yeah, it is. I can wear a hat and not sweat my head off, but I like that. I've had the bald look for quite a long time now, and I think it's kind of become my look, so I don't think I'd be growing hair now if I did it. Probably freak everyone out.
But do you ever like grab like your head and just like hoping that there's hair like there? I do that from time to time. I'm just wondering if I'm the only one.
I like the way it feels. The bald feels. It's kind of cool. My wife likes it too, so it's like, okay, just rub my head when I shave. Right after I shave, it's like, you know, a baby's butt. So that might have been a little too much information.
No, it was funny, actually.
We're live and uncensored, so you can say whatever. It doesn't bother us.
Yeah, it doesn't matter us. And you know what? I keep telling Ray because he's got the hair on the sides and on the back, he needs to go bald and shave it all the way.
Yeah, do it.
See?
I can't, man. I look too much like a skinhead. I can't do it.
No, you don't. He looks good.
Hey, bald is beautiful.
That's right. It is.
You know, remember back in the day, Telly Savalas and what's his name that played in The King and I that had.
Yeah.
Hey, you know they were tough. So.
Nobody messed with Yul Brenner.
You know, it seems like in movies and stuff nowadays, the hitmen, you know, the muscle, they're all now they have shaved heads. I guess it's intimidating looking or something. I don't know.
Probably.
Well, after Bruce Willis in the Die Hards, I can understand why.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. So you got Bruce Willis. He looks good, ball. So, he's real old, and he still looks, I think, looks pretty tough.
He does. He still looks good.
Yeah, you know, so I hope I look that good.
All right, so how did you all meet each other in this band? And are you all close friends, or you just play music and then do your own thing?
No, we're all good friends. We're not just a band that comes together and plays and never talk to each other. We keep a pretty much constant contact.
That's cool.
Well, it started with me. I started writing the songs and that, and as I progressed and got to be 8 songs and that, I got hold of Ed Dumas, one of the guitar players. In the picture, he's the one with the sunglasses, and the bandana. And he was in Turnpike with me. So I've known Ed for many, 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 many years. And I had always said that he was one of the best guitar players I've ever played with through all the years I've been in music. So I called him. I hadn't talked to him. Well, I hadn't talked to him since Turnpike broke up, so we're talking 2.5 years. I hadn't talked to him. And I called him and said, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I'd really like to have you on board and be the guitar player. So he wasn't doing anything at this time, which I was happy about, because I really thought he probably was in a band or doing something. And he agreed, and we started working out parts of the CD and the songs and everything together. And he ended up becoming, Ed's more like a partner for me. He's a partner in Absolon. And then we brought in a drummer, the original drummer, to lay down the drums on the CD. Ed actually did the bass on the CD. And the guy that did the engineering and mix and mastering and everything in the studio, Dave Michaels, he did all the keyboards that's on there. So I didn't really have a band. It was really just me and Ed. And they recorded the CD. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah, and Dave Michaels. And then after we got it done and released it, we went in search of a drummer and bass player. had to go. I had to let them go. Probably this was right before November of last year, and then we got the current drummer and bass player, and right now I don't have a keyboard player. We've kind of decided to be a 5-piece band instead of having the next CD is not going to be so much keyboards. It's going to be really more 2 guitar tag, traditional, European heavy metal. And Tyler, the other guitar player, I met him actually at the studio while we were recording and doing the mixing and everything. He was an intern at the studio. And he kept popping in, and he'd sit there for a couple hours while we were doing our stuff. And then the very last day that we were doing mastering the CD, he'd come in for a little while, and he got up to get ready to leave, and Dave Michael, the engineer, turned around and he knew I was looking for a second guitar player. And he said, Tyler plays guitar. He's really good. Now, I've been seeing this kid. He's 20 years old. I said, I've been seeing this kid for all this months, and he never said anything about playing guitar. And one thing led to another, had him come down to rehearsal, and he became part of the band. And he's going to be one to watch in the future. That kid's going to be a phenomenal guitar player. He's kind of already a whiz kid on the thing. And our drummer, he's 20, so we've got 2 young guns in the band, and have us old farts making up the rest of the band. so that's how the whole band came together. But I got the steady lineup now. I got the killer lineup.
So you have the NFL basically. You have your vets and you have your rookies.
Pretty much, yeah. That's exactly it. The rookies are really good. We drafted them. They're good. And the drummer, he's killer on those drums. And he pounds them things. So right now, I can tell by the audience's reaction, all the shows that we do, every time we play, it's the funniest thing. Well, normally we play second or third, depends on how many bands are playing. So the first band will go on and play, and it's like there's nobody there. We're thinking, okay, 5 people here, whatever. And as soon as we get about halfway into the first song, it's like, well, where'd all these people come from? The place is like just the floor is packed. And just the response that we get, I know that I've got the killer lineup now. We get yelled at, people saying, man, it's true metal, real metal, yeah. And it's like, yeah, that's a compliment to me. It's like, yeah, I think we're real metal, in the sense of heavy metal. So I got the killer lineup now, I tell you.
All right. So do you write all your songs, or do you get them from others, or who does the writing?
I wrote all the songs on the debut CD. This next CD, our bass player John, he's one of the new guys. He's also a songwriter. Now he was in a really popular band up in Philadelphia called Sinister Realm. Really, really good band. But he moved to Florida. Him and his wife moved to Florida, so which is good for me. I got him. But he writes. So the next CDs we're going to have it'll probably be 4 or 5 songs by him, and the rest will be my songs. His songs or mine are more Queensryche-ish prog metal. His are a little more, I don't know, Judas Priest, Dio. But we'll turn them into Absolon, ice them, once I get my voice in there and everything. So the really good songs that he's written for the band. So and it's nice not to write all the songs. I hate that. I hate being the only songwriter in a band. It's too much, pressure, having to come up with material all the time. So, but that's what I do. I'm a singer-songwriter.
So, as far as you said that it's going to change a little. You think that's going to affect how the audience feels about the band, and we've heard where the idea of Absolon came from. In your opinion, what does it mean to you? What does that name mean to you, and what does the band mean to you?
songs are much stronger and more complete. I don't know what Absolon means to me. It's giving me an outlet to do something I love to do. Music, in particular heavy metal. I feel like we're doing something that people can like. We play with so many, and again, I don't mean in disrespect to the genre of music, the yelling, screaming, that demon voice bands, but I think that the younger generation today are ready and hungry for bands that actually have music that has melodies and has guitar solos and structured songs.
Not just 3-chord.
3-chord chug chug chug. Down, tune down, and B tuning and A tuning and all this stuff. It's like you can get the lowest in the tuning. And because we did a festival, a big metal festival here about a month or so ago, and almost every single band that played that day before we went on was the yelling, screaming stuff. And I tell you, every single one of them sounded exactly the same. I couldn't tell where one song ended and another one began. I couldn't tell they were different bands. It could have just been the same band the whole day. And then we got up and played, and it's like people, wow. I could tell by young kids coming up there, and they're doing the devil horns, and thrusting their fists and stuff. Like, they're hungry for this. They want this,
Exactly. I mean, I don't like that. I have very sensitive ears, so I don't like that yelling, screaming. So when Ray first said heavy metal, I'm thinking yelling, screaming. Then he played your music, and I'm like, wow, I love it. This is cool. I like their music. I like the way they play. They're not screaming. You can understand what they're saying.
Yeah, I try to sing. I don't scream. I couldn't do that if I wanted to. Screaming stuff, it just hurts my throat. But I guess it takes a talent to do that, so I got to give them props, for being able to do that, because I can't. But I do. I think there's a hunger from the kids now for this. I mean, I see, the young kids, 20, their early 20s and that, now wearing Iron Maiden T-shirts and Judas Priest T-shirts and Thin Lizzy, and it's like, wow.
I remember Thin Lizzy.
Weren't even born. So, So I think we're in a good place at a good time for this kind of music. But I don't know if I answered the question or not. I mean, that's kind of a tough question. What does Absolon mean to me? I think it's just trying to play good music that people can get into and enjoy. And, hopefully it succeeds down the road. We got a big following in Europe, and we're actually do really well in Europe. So maybe someday getting on a tour in Europe would be nice. I don't know.
That would be awesome to have you happen, for you.
It sounds like you got a big following altogether. I mean, just on Facebook alone, you've got over 20,000 likes, and that's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
It kind of blows me away, but whenever I post, when we hit a milestone with the likes, I always post, I'll say we've hit ever how many, and that I still don't know what that means, if it means anything, it's kind of cool, to me, but, if that would just transpose into, maybe a tour or something like that, would be nice. Same with Reverb Nation. We've got how many thousands of fans stuff on Reverb Nation. So it's all good. I think, again, that goes back to, I think people, they are looking for this kind of music now. So just keep doing what we do, and hope it. But I'm having fun. I enjoy it. I'm just a full-time musician. I'm retired, so I'm just a full-time musician. And,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you should enjoy your retirement doing what you do. You love playing music, so why not? You know.
Yeah, it is. I'm more busy now than when I was working. I thought you're supposed to like, relax, but no, I'm busier now. But it's all good. So.
Well, the instrumental part of, Absolon kind of in a way reminds me of like something like a Dream Theater used to do.
Well, kind of prog. I've had a lot of people that tell us they think, but Queensryche was really kind of considered prog metal before, when prog metal was really starting and becoming known as prog metal. They were a different version. I mean, you had Rush and Genesis and stuff like that, but it was a different version of prog metal. So I think, I had people tell, Dream Theater, Crimson Glory, of course, Queensryche, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. I've heard so many, Pagan's Mind, which I love Pagan's Mind, but all these different bands, a lot of prog metal bands. So,
well, other than Life of Agony, when I heard that, story driven, the last time I heard story driven other than listening to y'all's music, it was from Megadeth.
Yeah. Of course, there's political, more political, but yeah. I haven't heard the last CD that I bought that I heard that was a full-on, just like this, full-on concept type CD was Judas Priest Nostradamus. And it's kind of the same thing. It's a 2 CD set, but the next closest would be Camelot. Camelot, most of their CDs are theme-based. It's not necessarily a full-on story, but it's very theme-based. And I love Camelot too. But our next CD will be theme-based. It's going to have a theme running through it from song to song. It's not going to be a full-blown concept like this one. I don't know if I want to do another one of these. It was too much. But the next one is about kind of a Romeo and Juliet zombie apocalypse story. So it's going to be kind of strange. But if you're into zombie love,
So, why don't you describe, to the audience, as far as a day in the life of Ken Pike if you weren't, on tour doing music?
Oh, well, I got back in November last year. I got married, and
Congratulations.
Congrats. Wow.
I flew to Japan. We got married in Tokyo, and we're going through the immigration process right now to get her visa, her permanent visa, so she can come over here. And so she'll be coming here eventually. And she's a composer. She composes music for movies and TV and stuff like that.
Cool.
She's a real well-known composer in Japan.
So how did you? I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, how did you meet her?
How did you meet her?
Oh my God, we got quite the story. I firmly believe we were meant to be together. But the record label that we're on an independent label called Liquid True Records in Germany, and I think we've been on the label about a month. And the owner of the label had talked to me one day and said, "Hey, you should get hold of this female composer, Rio Utasada. She's in Japan, and she composes music, but she does the real epic, like big epic movie music. Our styles might fit together. Maybe we could collaborate." I said, "Oh, okay, cool." So I sent her an email. She wrote back and said she would be interested in collaborating, and then she sent me a couple of ideas for songs and that. And we started emailing back and forth, and one thing just kind of started leading to the other, and then it sounds really kind of storybookish, I guess, but incredible music. And then I looked at her pictures, and I fell in love with her. And it was
Aww.
Skype. It was like, that was it. I guess if you want to say just love at first sight, it's real, because that was it.
That's sweet.
Eventually, we got married, and like I say, we got married in Tokyo, and I went back in this past March and spent a month there in Japan with her. And so Japan's kind of like my second home now.
That's cool.
And she's coming here. We started a business together called Firesphere Productions, LLC, and when she gets here, we're going to really push and promote that. And yeah, so a day in my life right now is we Skype twice a day, so the hours are weird. Like right now, it's daytime there, and it's nighttime here. So I'll Skype with her about 12:30 tonight. It'll be 1:30 in the afternoon. So I stay up until like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And wait until I get up. Then I get up and I'm either working on music, writing, working with my guitar. I'm on the computer doing. It's just I'm nonstop.
Yeah, kind of
That's-
like me. I don't ever sleep, so.
Yeah, I think he's a vampire, this one here.
Well, we're both vampires. Me and Rio joke all the time that we are creatures of the night. She's that way. She always has been. I blame her. I tell her, you made me this, you know. Like, well, I met you, we got married, now I'm a creature of the night. So, but I like it. I like staying up.
That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
So,
Can you imagine if you two ever had kids? Not saying you will or won't, but if you ever did, can you imagine between your talent and her talent, how talented those kids would be?
Oh, gosh. It'd be a good-looking kid, too. But I think she's beautiful.
I'm sure she is.
She's beautiful. So, you know, I don't know if there's any kids in the future, though. I think we both are kind of like, you know, we go maybe a little past the. I've had enough kids, so. I don't need kids.
Well, we're not saying you'll have them, but I'm just saying between your talent and her talent. Oh my God.
all right. So, what would you say to the younger generation that would want, that wants to start a band and whatnot, and how hard it is? What advice could you give them to, lead them on the right track?
Well, first I would say do it. This is music for me, because I've been playing music like this since I was about 7 when I started plunking on a piano. Music for me is not a hobby. It's not a pass in the night type of a thing. Music for me has always been an absolute 100% passion. It's a passion, an obsession. Even the times where I put music away for a while, it's like a drug. I go back to it. So I would tell any aspiring young musician that's wanting to start a band, get together a group of guys and, be passionate about it, and don't be scared to follow that dream. There'll be people, I had people all through the years about, well, you're not going to make money. When are you going to grow up? When are you, this is just a hobby. They didn't understand. But, you push through it. Don't listen to what anyone else has to say. Just do it. Follow your passion, your dream, and what you love to do. That's music. That's what music is,
Yeah, and eventually the money will come. You have to build it first, though.
Well, that's it. And it may not. It may, you may end up being like Anvil and, playing forever and never ever hit it really big, just still playing clubs and stuff like that. But I would say, don't ever let anyone persuade you from your dream. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but at my age, I'm not giving up on the dream. I'll be 80 years old. I'll probably still be pursuing the dream, but don't give up on the dream. Put the band together. know what? I have an attitude that somebody doesn't like what I'm doing or whatever. To me, it's like, screw you. I don't care whether you like it or you don't like it. I like it, and I enjoy doing it. So for the one person that doesn't like it, there's three that do. So,
Exactly.
just pursue the dream. Life is too short.
It really is. I mean, you know what? I'm 43, and this is my dream to have this radio station. Same thing with Ray. His dreams to have the radio station. People tell us the same thing, and you know what? We just keep pushing on. We don't care.
No, you shouldn't. That's your passion, and you follow your passion. You know, everyone's got opinions. You know, and you don't know what their motivations are. You don't know. They're just really miserable people. They want you to be miserable. And I don't know. Since I retired, and especially since I'm at Rio, and just I'm at a point in my life now where I live for the day. I let tomorrow worry about itself, and I want to enjoy every minute of the life I have left. And I'm not going to let anyone move me from, and I'm not going to let anyone make me unhappy or bring me down. It's just, life's too short. It's not worth it. So I'm a happy guy. I look mean in the pictures that I play dark heavy metal, but I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, but I bet if somebody pissed you off, you'd show them how happy you could be.
Well, I did over 30 years of law enforcement, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would definitely. But, there used to be a time in my life that it didn't take much to, make me mad. But it takes a lot of pushing. You have to really push me to set me off anymore. So, it's my fighting days and all that. So it's all behind me now. You don't heal as quickly when you get older. So
I know what that feels like. So.
yeah. So I'd rather make love than war. So.
All right. Well, we'd love to have you back on, sometime, Ken. Maybe we can get the rest of the band, together and hear some more of them band stories.
Sure, that would be good. The other guys probably get a kick out of it. You can get a different perspective from other people than just me.
No, we've appreciated it, tremendously.
Yeah, we love having you on, and again, congratulations on getting married. That's absolutely fantastic to you and to your wife.
I've had a good time too. It's fun. And I don't normally. I've never been a real big interview. I've never really liked doing interviews all that much. But maybe it's just part of my growing older. I don't know. But I did one Tuesday night, and it was fun. I had a blast, and tonight I've had a blast. So maybe I'm getting over it.
Well, maybe you're with cooler people that aren't rushing you, and that's the thing about today's radio. I mean, especially the fact that things are online. People don't seem to rush you anymore, or try to be like, okay, well, you got to say this, and you can't say this, and it's less freaking red tape.
Yeah, or you got 5 minutes to talk, and you want to tell this whole big story, and you can't. We don't care. You take your time. You can talk as much as you want. We don't care.
That's probably could be that's the way it was Tuesday night. So that's probably true. Because I'm in the interviews that I've done in the past, stuff like back during Malachi days and that. It was exactly like that because it was like most of the time they would send you the questions they were going to ask, and they would tell you, okay, you need to keep it, to answer this question, you need to keep it within, like a minute, 2 minutes maybe. Now, how am I supposed to explain the concept of a CD or an album or where we came up with this or
Really?
in a minute? It's impossible.
You can't.
No, I have to be talking really fast so you didn't want to understand me. Or I just, there's some of the interviews I do, I go, well, it's like, it's metal, man. I'd act really weird. I guess they maybe expected a singer in a metal band.
Well, we like the guests to enjoy themselves, and that's why we talk about real stories rather than just all music, because it gets boring. And in this day and age, where personality, in my opinion, shines over everything else because of digital downloads, it's just different.
Exactly. Not only that, but we'd rather have when, like you, for instance, we'd rather have the people get to know the real Ken Pike instead of just about the band Epsilon only, We want to know about you, about your band member. Absolon, sorry. I'm getting a little tired. And, we want to know a little bit about everybody, not just the band.
No, I like it, because there's nothing that I like to talk about more than myself. So, it's a beautiful thing.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go, not because, we're rushing you out of here, but because we want to make sure you can make your call with your old lady.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. We got about 30 minutes, and then it'll be time to Skype until 3:30. So.
There you go. I bet y'all have some steamy Skype conversations.
Ray.
Skype is, I'll tell you what, Skype is a beautiful thing. Much better than the phone. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I wasn't trying to put you on this, on the spot and everything. I would say, though, if you didn't mind, or if your band didn't mind, we'd love to have, I know it's like the new school and everything, but we'd love to, have an autograph, copy of the CD if that's possible.
Oh, sure, no problem. Just shoot me your email or message me your mailing address. Of course.
We love it.
We appreciate that. We treat that like our Grammys. We don't need to be on our award ceremonies. The fact that these, that great talent such as yourself and, Absalon, is willing to give little old us, something so, memorable.
Yeah, we're just a little band, so, yeah. And we're having a bunch of new merchandise made right now, and I should have some other stuff actually Tuesday. So I'll get you an autographed CD. Actually, I'll get you two, because there's two of you. So, and maybe throw in a couple of special surprise goodies.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Awesome.
I'm like a little kid in a candy store. I'm like, I can't wait.
Me too. My face just lit up. I was like, ooh, awesome.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, just make sure I get your address, and then just give me a couple of weeks so I get some of this other stuff I'll shoot you guys some stuff.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Hopefully next time when we can get the band on, our other part of our crew, Tempo and Snow show up. For some reason, they must be having some kind of issues because they were supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Get a couple of the other guys on.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, Ken. Is there any last words or anything you'd like to say to your fan base?
Well, for the ones that are out there that know who we are and support us, we sincerely appreciate support. And for any new fans maybe we made tonight, we appreciate their support. I don't care how big a band is, they had to start somewhere, and they didn't get there without the fans. People buying their CDs and coming to the shows, So that's something that I'm very particular about and very appreciative of. I always wanted, like after shows and stuff, I like taking time to go out and talk to people because they're supporting us, So I'm not, howdy-cowdy and all that, my nose up there just because I play in a band.
That's awesome. You definitely got a fan over here because I'm definitely a fan. I know Ray's a fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I appreciate it. We all do. So I think that's about it. We appreciate people, everyone that supports us.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on to Local Radio, Mr. Ken Pike, and we do appreciate everything. And like I said, later on down the road, we'll definitely like to, hear not only you, but the entire band, or as many as possible, and just get a little discussion and see how you all actually mesh together.
Okay. No, that would be fun. I'm sure some of the guys would definitely would love to do it.
All right. Well, you have yourself a good night.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Warning.
Goodbye.
What a nice guy.
He says they're a little bad, but they're not. So.
No, they're not that little. I was thinking that. You guys are not no little bit.
Okay, for those on the Spreaker, we're not sure if we're going to do another show or not tonight. We are not sure. We're trying to see what's going on with our other co-hosts, and if they show up, we will. If they're not, I've been having chest pains and everything else, and I don't know if it just would be feasible for me to do it tonight. I may say fucking and do it anyway. All right. If you didn't hear the interview, I will have it uploaded soon. Thank you for listening to 2 Local Radio. This is Ray Ray. Have a wonderful evening.